And please don't forget to subscribe or give us thumbs up. Yeah, we are on the studio to discuss about how navigating single fatherhood challenges in the modern age. Things have totally changed about parenting. There are so many single fathers, and people become single fathers either through divorce or through the death of the spouse, and it has become very common. So the modern how to navigate all those challenges, and we want to discuss about what are these challenges and how do we navigate them. And on the studio, I will have Sam Mwangi, who's the president of Global Fatherhood Foundation, to talk about that. Welcome, Mr. Mwangi.
Well, thank you so much. I am so absolutely excited to be here and to start a new venture with you. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. So now I know we call you a fatherhood guru. You have been a crusader there, and we really appreciate that because you are the only voice of men. So what are some of the challenges facing single fathers?
Well, viewers, just introduce myself. I'm Samuel Mwangi. I'm the executive director of the Global Fatherhood Foundation. Global Fatherhood Foundation, we are based here in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. And I'm very passionate about fatherhood. I think everybody knows in the community and also all the community leaders that we work together. So single fatherhood can be challenging in any area, but I think the modern age has brought its own unique of challenges for these men. Uh, for instance, we have they're struggling with financial struggles, especially when they are the sole providers. When they raise the kids by themselves, how do you balance with work and how do you provide? How do you meet the needs of these kids? Because with the sole provider, because the economic situation in any country, the economic situation in any family has become dynamic and it has been very, very expensive to raise these kids. Another challenges you find that our fathers they don't have enough support in the community. They are less like unlike women who have so many groups who are there can be able to help them with resources.
Mm.
Also, maybe sometimes stay at home with the kids, or just be there for listening. Uh, the single fathers they struggle on their own. It's like you're starting a journey trying to find trying to try to take a path whereby you don't know where you're going because the support is not there. One of the most challenging thing I'm seeing about the single fathers is just how do you balance work and parenting. You have to work, you have to
Mhm.
go, you have to feed your kids, you have got to look for an income. Again, you have to take the care. The kids need emotional guidance. The kids also needs to go for sports. So balancing that has been difficult because you really need another person or another help in the community. Maybe you need like a family friend. Maybe you need like maybe your parents also, maybe a brother or sister who can be able to help you balance that work, so you can be able to maintain that balance here. One thing also I'm thinking about social stigma and stereotypes. For instance, I have men who come to office and they say whenever their kids wants to go out for sleepover to their friend house, most of these homes which are raised two by two by two households, they
Mhm.
always say no because you don't have a mother, so there is always a tendency to scare. You know what? They kind of fear. You don't know what's going to happen. But it's sad. It shouldn't be like that. Yeah, a father wants his kids to go and sleep over and enjoy and have a good time, just like anybody else. Yeah. Also, let's talk about emotional thing. Emotional. I've seen a lot of our young fathers. They go through depression. The depression and the anxiety. You feel sometimes you are overloaded in what you have. But how do you navigate it? Because honestly, Josh, most of our fathers, we don't ask for help. You know,
mm,
you don't ask for help, and we assume that we can navigate, we can become a father automatic. No,
mm.
times have changed. You cannot just wake up today and say, I want to raise kids, I want to become a good father, I want to meet a spouse. No, there has to be a sequence of events which allows that. Yeah, you have to have a mentor. You have to read books. You have to be emotionally and psychologically ready. You have to be financially ready. You have to know how to do something called the work balance. The work balance
Mm.
between how you're going to go to work. I'm sorry, I meant family balance, family and work balance. You go to work, and also you balance with your family, because those kids, they really need you. Another thing, it's also sometimes it's just most men don't have enough time even to be single fathers. You want to spend time with your kids.
Mhm.
You want to do other things, yeah, uh, personally yourself. So you don't have that time of even taking care of yourself. Self care, self.
Okay, so there's something I want to
Yes,
make clear. How do you experience
yes,
how how did we get here that we are having more single
yes.
fathers now
Well,
taking care of their kids? If I can take you back, how
sure.
did we get here?
Well, there are a couple things. If you look in terms of the family dynamics, how we are being raised, we came from a family whereby we were taught that a house will have a father and a mother in the house. Yeah,
Yeah.
but especially when we came to this country, let's talk about the dynamic of this country, or look at the modern world, the way it has changed here. You find the marriage is not sustainable. And the way people are jumping into this relationship, they we are jumping into a relationship, but we are not nurturing that relationship. So you find everybody wants to make a say in that relationship. There's no agreement. So when there is no agreement, you find everybody wants to go their own way. The mothers want to go their ways, our community fathers, they want to go their own way. So we have now what do you call a dysfunctional family, whereby uh, the families, the women, now the wife and the father, they're living a separate life, and so
Mhm.
they're raising their kids, and they're raising their kids differently, and that's why we have sometimes when the mother is raising the kids and the father is raising the kids are confused in between. And that will be another topic. We'll talk about how these
Yeah,
kids are going
no,
to.
it's good to, yeah, to give you a
Yeah,
foundation. So
yeah,
what you're saying, we
yeah,
have arrived in a single fathers by marriage is not working. People,
sure.
husband and wife are separated, or it can also be
Yeah,
whereby you have friendship, and then you get a child with a lady, but you have to co-parent with
certainly.
that, even if your man, everybody has to take care. And I know in some generations back, it
Yes,
was the responsibility of the lady to take care of the child, and
yes,
but because of the rules here,
yes,
you have to be part of the child. So that's
yes.
how we have ended in having so many single
And
fathers.
certainly, you have raised a very good question here, because if you look at the legal dynamics of this country, the, the legal is you if you number one, okay, let's say you're together, you divorce. There's an issue of the co-parenting. Yeah, so there's a single father. Again, there will be you met a lady. Maybe you have a child. Maybe you are not contemplating of pushing along and being in the relationship. So you broke up. Yeah. Again, we have another issue I've seen again with when we have a home whereby there is fighting. There is fighting. There is disagreements, a lot of disagreements, and there comes the issue of custody, and the men are given the custody, or the women can begin the custody. So it's just that we have a dynamics of different way, and the support system here is not like back home, whereby you know I can advise you, I can follow up with you, you can be able to connect these two people with resources, you can be there for them. Remember, I always say this, I think I talked about it in the last conversation we had in our last meeting. We talked about, we used to have in my culture a system called the uncle system.
Mm,
And the anchor system is like a mentor. When you grow up during the rite of passage, the rite of circumcision, you are given a man and say, this is a person who will be there for you, somebody you can be able to confide, somebody who can be
mm,
able to tell them about the challenge you're going through, and just somebody even to give you the guidance of how to become a good father in your
mhm,
life and
mm.
also in the community. So the modern one, there is a lot of struggle, and we lack that. And the culture has been a key thing, Mr. Joash, Dr.
Yeah.
Joash, has been a key
Mm.
thing. It's lacking. The more we live in this country, the more we live here, the more we get acquainted with this culture here. We're becoming disconnected. Yeah,
No, yeah,
we're
yeah.
becoming disconnected.
I actually you have raised a very important
Mhm.
question about this culture, and you have given how
Yes.
people grow up. Simply you are trained
Mhm.
to be a father.
Yes.
But that was our time, not even a culture. Let me tell you, even the culture where you come from.
Yes.
Uh, Most of the time, people used to stay together in the village.
Yes.
But see, the modern children now,
Yes.
their fathers, maybe most of them are raised in towns. Most
Yes.
of them, they go to school,
Yeah.
they finish school, they go to
Mm.
college, they go to the
Yes.
world. And this is one of the gaps where we are having so many unprepared fathers. We need to call
Certainly.
them, they come to the field and we want them, after you have raised your kid, they have gone through college, you want them to settle down.
Yes.
And then they are not prepared.
It is
How
true.
can a father
Yeah.
would address that issue? We are having so many unprepared fathers.
Okay. Well, the dynamics of the fatherhood has really been impacted, especially when it comes to the single family homes, because the man is the single family breadwinner in these houses here. Now, Joash, let me put you back again. Let's go back again to the issue of the village. Yeah, if you look at the dynamics of the village, we used to have the father and the mother in the community and raising this family. Actually, like I said in the last show again, in
Mhm,
the early ages, actually very long time ago, the father was actually like the role model. He could make the decisions in the house. He could decide how the kids will he could decide how the kids how they're going to be raised, where they're going to go to school. The bulk of that decision was with the father. Now what happened again, you have to look again, the industrial revolution,
industrial revolution.
the workforce change, whereby we have these companies coming from abroad, this company, the investments coming up here, they needed labor. And to
Mm,
get to that labor, men had to go and work in those towns, and then the women were left with the kid. Now, that is where actually the beginning of dysfunctional families and the falling of families started there. Because now, as women, they were struggling, trying to balance doing their part as mothers, but also
mm,
they did have that experience of raising kids as fathers, yeah, because that is a fatherhood. This is in us, and
mhm,
I always say this, and I tell our women,
mm,
we have our space on how we raise our kids. They cannot be able to raise as a kid, as a father, like how I do it myself or how you do it yourself here. I make it point blank to them and I tell
mhm.
them that here. That's why we have to work together. Now, when our fathers they left, yeah, so those struggles were there. The kids being disrespectful, and lacking mentors, and they're growing up, and
Mm.
also not having a foundation laid down for them to take them to the next level.
Yeah, but equally the same.
Yeah.
Even in when you read the history of United States of America,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, during the industrial age, the men were the one working. But
Yeah.
during the Second World War,
Yes.
men went to war,
Yes.
and there was no labor. So the women who were housewives
Yes.
started working. When
Yes.
the men came back, even in some industries, realized women are good workers.
Yes.
Now women started working. Now there are two people. Even at times, a man is supposed to be home to take care of the kids, and
Yes.
and that is how we
Yes.
ended up now having
Yeah.
two husband and wife working.
Yes.
Now, when the women now could have the money, they
Yes.
wanted to have a say of the money. They wanted things equal, And
Yeah.
that is how many divorces came in. Single women now can live alone on their own, and now there was a struggle for co-parenting.
For co-parenting. Yes.
So even where we are right now,
Yes.
uh, people don't feel that, that time a woman could not do anything because he has to stick with the husband because he's the breadwinner.
Sure. Yeah.
Now they are more free to make their own choice that they can remain single, and that is
Yeah.
what has brought here. So even that this culture has also changed, like ours has changed in a way.
Yes. Yeah.
So
It.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think
Now
you're
how
finished.
can we navigate now here? We are
Uh,
having, and it's a reality that we need to accept that
sure.
at times even those marriages are not working.
Yeah. Uh, you raised a very good point when you said about if you look again, let's go back to the dynamics of uh, relationship now. The dynamics of the marriage is changing. You know, people are not stable. I mean, you can still raise kids. You
Mm,
can raise kids, and and I want to just go back a little bit. I tell even the single fathers who are
mm,
raising kids, there's still an opportunity for them. If they wanna establish another relationship, they can still be able to establish another relationship as a
mm,
form of support with a lady who has got kids. Or you've got kids, you can combine and you can still raise a good family. A support system is very important here. So back to your question, I think we need to change the dynamics of the culture. You know, we need to say, and I say this every time we have our meeting, you meet any person with kids, marry her, or you have kids, it's fine. Make it. We need to go back to an issue of our culture, the way we do things. We need to have so many mental come up and support here. And we need men to also to say, you know what, I need help. You know, I'm not good here. I need help. You know, I need help. When you ask about help, you have a good mentors. I met a couple of
mhm,
fathers in
mhm,
my community, and I can tell you they are all on a different level of single fatherhood there. And I tell them, even when you raise kids, we have to have goals in life. You know, you have to goals in life. You have to take care of yourself. You have to look for support. You have to balance work and parenting. You know,
mm,
so and again, they have to look for ways and navigate. Live within your means also. The good thing about this country, and I think you know it, Dr. Joash, we have support services here.
mm,
And people, and the men, they should be ready to ask for help. If you live in any city, if you live in any county, ask
mm.
for help, you know, and that help can be able to help you because we want men also to
Mm.
have to have a sense of self-care. We don't want people to be going to be having mental
Yeah.
issues or depression or anxiety.
Dr. Mwangi, you have talked about something that we need to go back to our
Sure.
culture.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Yeah,
I I I would I would want to differ with you there.
sure.
I think we need to educate people
Yeah,
how to move away from the culture, looking regressively, retrospectively to our old culture is not gonna help because those things were the modern age has become so different.
yes.
Uh, I know when we grew up, and we call ourselves a sandwich generation. We are a sandwich generation because we are the people, a generation which listened to their parents
Yeah,
and now listening to their children. Fathers now, you never used to talk to your father directly like that, like they do now. But that is a reality we have to accept that life has changed.
sure.
So we need, don't you think we need to debrief the men who are holding on their cultures, how things were done, so that they
Yeah.
can embrace the new change?
Actually, you raised a very good question, and this is actually subject to conversation, subject to agreement or disagreement here. Uh, there are a couple of things, the way I mirror what you're talking about. We can have something called a transactional culture or a
Mm,
transformational culture or a virtual or a hybrid culture or
mm,
hybrid. Okay, a transactional culture will be okay, fine. We stick with some of the rules which made fatherhood to be great back in the old days. Yeah. Now, a
mm,
transformation culture should be we try again as the kids grow up, we try to transform ourselves, living and but keeping those ones which we think can work and make us good fatherhood. Yeah.
mm,
Now, as a kid grows, as a kid grows,
mm,
actually, let me put it back to you. I do apologize. I'm going to go back. Okay, we start with the transactional culture of
mm,
fatherhood. We keep what is actually very strict, which really has a foundation for us to be good fathers. Yeah. Then
mm,
we have the transformation. Yeah. The transformation culture will be fine. We see what works in a new environment. How can you navigate with if this one doesn't work? Because Joash, remember, our
mm,
kids are growing. You
mhm,
cannot be a transactional father when your child when your child is about 15 years old. Yeah. No, you have to change. You have to start listening to them. They have to question you sometimes, and also you have to understand why they're questioning you because the way the
mm,
kids have been raised. Yeah, it's
mm,
at a certain age, past 18 years old. Now we go to the hybrid part. Yeah, the hybrid part. You are and I mean. Uh, uh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to say is the transactional fathers. Then we have the hybrid, whereby you are using both transactional fathers and
mhm. And
transformation.
transformation.
Transformation. Then you
Yeah.
finish with the transformation. Now, transformation now is a change. Now,
Mm,
you have really nurture them in a way that when they go out there by themselves, they're able to make good decisions here. But
mhm,
they're still anchored on the transition of fatherhood, which is good for them because
mm,
there are some things that we are raised back home we cannot take away from us here because
yeah.
when we start taking away those things or the way we were it was anchored in us, it's going to change not only the life of the fathers but also the future generation of fatherhood.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm,
so I want you to understand that. That's what I'm trying uh, to create on that. Yeah. So on the transformation is okay, but on the hybrid part, we keep what is transactional as you go through the transformation. Then the transform as we finish with the transformation now, we know we have accepted, we have shown them this is what you can do. You have changed. I don't do the things that I believed in. Now
mm,
you have a young man or a young lady who is actually nurtured to go out in the
mhm.
community or become an adult who is very well prepared to face the dynamics of the new environment. Yeah,
Yeah. And you know,
yeah.
what I have got many people now complaining, more
Hmm.
especially parents who have grown up children.
Hmm.
Maybe they have seen the children have seen the challenges the fathers are going through.
Yes,
And actually, their sons, most of them don't want to get married.
sure.
What can you advise such a people? Because that is a dilemma they are having. Either
Yes,
they are postponing marriage
yes, yes,
or they
yes.
don't want to get married in time.
Uh, Dr. Joash, I know I know sometimes you really challenge me. Thank you. Well, the good thing, whatever I'm talking right now, Dr. Joash, it's what actually we have here when I have discussion with these men when they come to me every Friday. Every Friday office here is a days for fathers and men who are going through challenges. So sometimes they I have to really think also the box, and sometimes also I have to learn from them. So you
Yeah.
raised a very good question. I think. The fatherhood as a father we need to be accommodating. I think we need to change. I think we need to show support. We should not be able to give up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Show support. uh how we live in a modern dynamic, we have to accept it. We live in this world. You have to accept it. You have to work with your spouse in order to build that household. You know,
mm,
you have to accept that in this way they're doing things differently. Though we are anchored in our culture way of doing things, there's some things we're gonna leave.
mm,
There's some things we're gonna keep for the better.
yeah.
But we really have to take that acceptance and guide our kids. I have a 22-year-old, and when he calls me a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Daddy, thank you so much for just being my father." He was going through some personal stuff here, and he said, "What you told me when I was 15 years old about this, it has really helped me because, Dad, today I was able to help another young man who was struggling the same way you told me I do this." So
Mm,
the idea that I needed or I gave to him, depending on the situation, he was able to help another young man
mm,
Advice, yeah, a young man actually who is in a single family home, being raised by a single mother, struggling, you know.
mm,
So, like I said, we have good things in the culture, but
mhm.
let us choose which ones can work for the future generation. And also let us have these kids transform and also be able to make decisions as they move forward as fathers, yeah, and as a and the
Yeah.
community.
I- I'm seeing some question from
Yeah, go ahead.
the audience
Yes.
saying how what is saying that single fathers need to grow up. When when your kids are with you, that is not the time you should get your girlfriend in your house. Oh man, that must be from already. What do you say about that?
I want to tell that lady. uh, Single fathers, they're human being. They're human being. Also, they need love. Just like a young woman with a single girl, a single lady with the kids, they need love. They need to be accommodated. It's the same
Mm,
thing with single fathers.
mm,
Raising these kids has challenges, and having that support system or having somebody next to him, it makes
mm.
a difference here. So to the young lady, it's not a matter of growing up, it's a matter of emotionally being ready and emotionally having a support system which can make this man to be a good father.
I think maybe what she meant, if he has a girlfriend, the girlfriend should not come when the kids are there. That, that's what.
Okay, about the
Oh,
girlfriend.
okay,
So
okay,
now,
maybe it's a good answer you have given, my.
we can have those
Or
conversations.
maybe you, but you also have to
I
understand.
think
Maybe
I,
it's thinking they are going to go back. So when the kids come and say, "Oh, we were
yeah.
with auntie or something," yeah, I think that's what you have explained, that
Well,
person on his up. I mean, it's
it
a reality of a modern age.
no, it's true. It's a reality of money that everybody needs a company. Everybody needs a companion. That's what I meant here. However, I think it's how we do it. Okay,
Mhm,
uh, if the concern is the kids are small, I mean, I think, and I get it. If you are dating, take your time, date this person. Don't bring this person to the home if you still have kids, yeah, because uh, if the kids will be seeing different women every day, because they're coming, you're coming, then they come to your house,
mm,
they see you go to your room.
mhm,
I think we're setting a bad precedent when these kids are going to grow up here, a
yeah.
bad example. So it's better if you have to meet your companion before you decide you're going to stay with this person in the house.
Mhm.
I think it's imperative that you meet outside until the day you decide, this is the best person, this is the person I'm going to settle, so the kids can be able to be accommodative here. Because there's also the process again of introducing somebody into your life when you have kids. You
Mm,
don't just bring this person all of a sudden, yeah. And it's even
okay.
worse when they're every day is a different person every day. I think it
Oh
creates a
yeah.
very bad picture and
That sets a very
yeah.
bad example.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it does, yeah.
That's okay. I another
Sure.
comment here says,
Mm.
why should I pay child support and but I am not allowed to decide how the money is used uh, for taking care of my kids? How would you, I think that would be a
Yeah,
single father asking.
sure. Is that from a single father or from a
Yeah,
lady?
a single father.
So is a single
He's
father.
complaining that he's paying child support, but he doesn't have powers in how the money is being used.
Okay. Uh, it's That's a very unique question. It's a very unique question because from the understanding is the dynamics of the child support, depending on the county. If you have a co-parenting situation whereby 50-50, or you have a 60-40, or you are paying or she's paying child support or you're paying child support, actually you you should be able to have a say. But now, when you pay child support, uh, it's the law of the county. They determine how much money you're gonna pay, and this money should be used actually in the support, and also in the expenses for the young for the kids. So it is assumed, that when you take that, when it's assumed that when you have that money for child
Mm.
support, the money is assumed is going to help the
For the
kids. Yeah,
yeah.
for the welfare of the kid. Now the issue comes: can we start be asking for receipts? Because that is, can we be asking for receipts? Can we be asking for this? Because it's just the law. The law says the person who stays with the kid has to pay this money, and it's assumed that it's used for the welfare of the child. I mean,
Yeah.
in other words, that is your share in the welfare of the child. Yeah. And sometimes there is misuse. There is misuse of this money. It is not directly used to what it's supposed to do. So, and it's bad. The misuse can be bad. Yeah.
But I don't think there is any parent who will not take care of the parents. I mean, you cannot, unless you know of any misuse or complaint that the money is not being used. But emotionally, somebody who's taking care of children, emotionally is drained, and it
Yeah.
means a lot. I think it's good to leave that the person would have to budget for the money, unless.
Well, I want to understand one more thing. When he raised about the question of misuse, it has maybe to come from the children. Maybe sometimes you ask the kid, they say, oh, we're not eating, we are not going to the games, like how you just interview the kids.
Mhm.
We're missing our breakfast, we're not eating food, real good food, we don't have enough clothes, maybe we don't have this. I think that's where you get your concern. I mean, I'm giving this money, I'm supporting these kids, but why am I hearing these problems again? Why are these kids telling me all this? I think, and that can be a concern which can be raised actually with the county and say, how how is this money used? And actually, this will be
But
a conversation with the county
yeah, but
or
but
with the
then
social worker. Yeah.
sometimes when they calculate the
Yes.
money through the
Yeah.
county, how much you have to pay,
Yes.
it does not include on some of the things like clothes, which I think as a father you can go far beyond even through those things outside, not necessarily that they have to come through the money
Yeah.
pool.
The the money is determined on the income, on the
Mm,
assumption that if you are there into the life of these kids, this is the support that will be needed. So it can be a component of everything. Can it be food? Can it be clothes? Can it be everything? The
mm,
only thing that we encourage our single fathers, or fathers who are in a joint custody issues, in the parental support. When you go to see your kids, go do extra. Take some clothes with you. Get some toys. Have fun,
okay.
together. Go and maybe go for dinner. Just do things together. The child, the support. It's just, I'm trying to say, we can go extra and do a lot, but
Mm,
that money helps because it's also, let's say if the ladies is not maybe working, and
mm.
sometimes, and that can be another conversation again. You find it so
Okay,
much.
yeah, we can do. Maybe let's not go into much topic. It looks like that we need, as one of the challenges, we need to
Yeah.
expound on it in a future series. And I want you to talk about what are some of the challenges with technology. And I wanted you to see how this life has changed. Ah,
Yeah.
do you see that? How the world has changed for parents. How in the 1980s, how we used to play, a father
Yeah.
used to play with the kids
Yeah.
outside the yard.
Oh man.
Now, see 2020 and beyond. The father is
Yeah.
lonely. The kids are with their telephones and they are on TikTok and other things. I think this portrays something good. What would you advise single parents to challenge on that?
Oh my God, Josh, you're very funny. I think I'll suggest to the single fathers and to the single parents here. I think the most important thing, you have to set rules.
Mm,
You have to set the boundaries. You know, uh, our kids, the new generation, they have to be in the technology. I mean, it's a trend. It's something you cannot
Mhm.
take away. But you just have to set the rules. My kids, when they go to bed, and I'm starting a new system whereby actually I have like a key for the internet. I shut off the internet at night every 10:30. I shut it off so everybody could go to bed, because I don't know
Mm.
what they're doing in their room. They have the phones, they have the
Oh
computer, they
yeah.
can be going online. So I
Mm.
shut it off. So and kind of clear the rules. When you have dinner time, we put the phones away. We speak and ask them, how was your day? And they ask me, how's your day at work? What did you do? What
Mhm.
did Josh tell you today on his TV show?
Eh,
So so yeah, I mean, yeah, and and also when they want to do play their games online, we have to set a limit for them. As long as they're staying with us, it's 2 hours. It's
mhm.
1 hour,
Yeah.
in 1 hour, and spend as quality time as together. Go out shopping together. Take a walk in the evening. Yeah, we took a walk last week together with them. And
Mm.
it's forceful, but make it also a habit. Make it a
Okay.
habit every time you are doing it. Don't do it today, and don't do it tomorrow. So
Okay.
technology is good, but we just have to set the rules and the boundaries. And it's you, the
Mhm.
parent, it's you, the father, it's you, the mother, it's you who can be able to do that and do it boldly and tell them this is how things are going to be done, and they will understand. They'll understand and they'll respect you for that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we are coming into our end of the
Yeah.
topic. Next time, I would like us to
Sure.
talk about parental alienation.
Oh yes, thank
I
you.
know that's one of
Yes.
the topics, so that one we'll talk next.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
and we would expound on these challenges you have said in
Certainly.
the
Yes.
future episodes, so that
Mhm.
we can be able to get more out on these topics.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, it was nice having you on the show. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time.
Okay.